Hi, Dov here, and today we have a new episode in the art review series. And today we'll be checking out the work of Hiyu. I found this guy first, I think, on Twitter or X, but the guy who posted it was basically a different person and not. Although Hiyu has a Twitter page or X page, it's not updated, so I don't recommend it. Although you can still follow their page. And last I checked, the Instagram it's not working, or the page is, in my case, it's not displaying for me. But yeah, thankfully though, he has or she or they have an ArtStation page. I will be focusing more on these. Let me just use my pen here. Oh, let's try this. The square. We're going to be focusing on. Oh shit! I'm so fucking cool, guys. Ooh. By the way, the app is called Epic Pen because it's epic. So we'll be focusing more on these ones above. I'm not saying the ones below are bad. They're good, but they're just different in terms of the style. The style that kind of hooked me in were these ones within this box. So let me just delete. Whoa. So there's not much actually, although some posts have multiple images. But let's look at these ones first. I believe this was the one I found first. It's the redhead chick with the blue jeans. So kind of like a magician, farmer, like mechanic type of chick. Now the reason why I like this kind of style is because, well, I myself am trying to develop my own character art. Like I want to be able to draw, illustrate my own characters, put them in different poses, tell a story with them, do like faces. So the whole like the typical character art type of content. And recently, if you check out my art process videos, that's what I've been trying to expand on. I mean, I'm still doing the whole like creature stuff or mech stuff, but I really want to explore the character stuff as well. And I do like the approach here. It's very loose, but it's very clear at the same time, and I think that's a good balance because oftentimes when sketches are sketches, because there are two kinds typically. There's a sketch for you, and there's a sketch that's more public, meaning people can actually tell what that thing is. Because there are certain levels or certain styles of sketches that's really just meant for the actual artist. You know, it's there to help them in their iterative process. But there are sketches that are a bit more, I guess, appealing to the mass public, or it's a more shareable, more like or share friendly online. And I kind of want that. I want this clarity in my work, but still having that sense of looseness. And I like that the style is very consistent as well. I mean, I do notice, for example, in this case, the halftone texture is being used. It's sort of a complementary or supplementary texture, but I don't think it's very indicative of, say, the actual texture of, I guess, this, what do you call this vest. It's kind of a one piece. I forgot the actual term for it, but I don't think it's necessarily specific to that actual thing. I think it's more of a design, illustrative style thing. And if you notice, the brushes, it's not very. I don't see a lot of brush variety. In fact, I see very basic brushes. I do see the round brush, and sometimes you'll see a like a flat brush with one of the edges or both edges that are soft or set to soft. So in that way, you don't have to like do a brush stroke with hard edges and then use a mixer brush to soften the edge. You can just start with a brush that already has a soft edge. So let's explore some of these. Oh shit. Why is it so small? Oh, it's me. I was too zoomed out. My bad. Yeah. And for most of their pieces, the background is usually just left white, which I like because right now the focus is on character design. So there's no need for a background, and it really helps you just focus on what needs to be focused on. And in this case, it's the exploration, the illustration of the character. I also like the simplification of the forms. Like, it's not fully rendered, but again, there is that clarity that, like, you know what it is. Like, you yourself can, or any average person, can fill in the gaps for you. So there is that readability. It's not too vague, not too conceptual. It's a solid concept, but again, it's more presentable to the public. Really strong shapes too. And sometimes there's sort of a mixture between. Let me just show you. I'll use a pen tool here. With this thickness. Sometimes you'll see lines here, and it's mixed in with the shapes. So sometimes the lines are left in, and sometimes it's erased out. So it's not very consistent where you have like all of the lines are there, all of the colors are there. Like, it's not a complete process. Like, each thing makes up for the lack of the other. So, for example, let me just delete this. Let's go up a bit. Oh shit, for this part, for this specific illustration, there's hardly any. Well, maybe at the top you'll see more of it. Shit. Like, I do think if this was part of the original, like, line sketch, because I'll show you a process, a breakdown that they have in their portfolio of their typical process, I would say. And it usually starts out with an ink, a very rough, raw ink work, and then some flats, and then the softening of the edges, adding the gradients. You'll see more of it in the following. Just give me some time to go through these other pieces. But yeah, so it's not a complete thing, right? And also, I do notice that the face is rendered more. And what's cool about it is if you zoom out, it looks good, right? If you zoom in, it looks good. If you zoom out, it still looks good. Now, why do I point that out? Sometimes when you zoom in and work on the face, the moment you zoom out, if it's too rendered, if the face is too rendered, it can actually distract from the rest of the piece. So I think finding that right balance where if you zoom out, it looks good. If you zoom in, it still looks good. So you need to learn when to stop, essentially, because you can over render something. You can overwork something. I do like the hands too. Pretty much the approach is very similar, where it's very heavy on the shapes. Not really into contour drawing. It's more graphic in a sense. I do think quite a few clipping masks or clipping layers are being used to organize things. I do think you would need to have some layer management to do this because the edges are fairly clean. And doing this in one layer is a bit, it's not efficient. And also the color schemes, if you'll notice, it's often complementary, like red, green, and stuff like that. And although it's a very simple and like fundamental concept, and sometimes it is overlooked, where people try to add so many hues, and you don't have to go that or be that complicated. You can just stick to some basic like color schemes. And I also like how sometimes they'll add this blue highlight. Like, again, if you look at the background, there is no background, it's just white, but it shows you that there's a blue light source, sure, but I think it's more of a style thing, where because oftentimes if the actual character, if it leans more on the warm side, just adding this sort of makes it pop out even more. So that contrast of like red and blue, I think that's why. Delete. Let's zoom in just a bit. Oh, again, you'll see some of those black lines. Let me just show them again. If you can't see, I think these are from the original like ink sketch, and then the majority of it has been deleted, and maybe some of it is actually done after the whole rendering. So I think it's not always I think sometimes these sort of black lines, they're more of an artistic choice to add some natural look to it. You'll see this in the work of Evan Lee. I will link his work too in the description below. He'll do the rendering. He doesn't do the render or his artworks with a line sketch usually in the beginning. Although in the end, in the finished illustration, he will find a way to add like these black lines as well over the form, over the contours. It adds that sketchy look, but it's not actually like a functional line. It wasn't used in the beginning or in the process. It was used more as a style thing. So I do think most of these lines that were from the original sketch, and maybe some, a minority maybe, are more stylistic. And again, very graphic look, very hard edges, strong edges, strong shapes. But if we find a different piece here, let me just expand this. This one too. So we have 3 on this post. Oh yeah. So we can zoom in more because if you just view it within ArtStation, it's not as good. Okay, let's start here. So even from this stage, you can tell that it's very strong. Like the silhouette is very strong, very sharp. But what I think can help is if you zoom in, say on the pants. Oh my god, I'm so zoomed in. Jesus Christ. You see these soft gradations. They're very subtle. For example, before that, look at these parts right here. Oh, it's too thick. Yes. Let's go back. So there are soft brushes being used. I do think a flat brush was being used here, and it's a kind of flat brush where the edges are soft. So in that way, you can be more precise. It's kind of like using a soft brush, but it's more precise because if you just use a round soft brush, it's hard to control like the other side. Like you have to erase one side to make one side more hard. But in this case, you kind of save time by using a flat brush for that precision. All right. Let's move up a bit. And even for example, in this part right here, like the base is obviously, oh shit, Christ. The base, right, is of this whole thing is obviously flat, but within it, there are very subtle like gradients, like shifts. I think they could be using a gradient tool or a basic soft brush. So essentially, it just adds more volume to that flatness. For example, the flat soft brush here, I would assume, and then some very soft gradients. It feels like watercolor. If you've ever used watercolor, and if you've done some watercolor washes, you will know what I mean. It's very soft, and it kind of just flows through the paper like water. So it's not like super harsh, super graphic. Even if the overall shapes and silhouette very graphical, but everything within it, there is a softness to it. And when it comes to their special, let me just move to a different piece here. Oh yeah. They do often use like special texture brushes. I think it's part of their style, but let's go back here. You'll notice a hatch brush or a rake brush over here. And sometimes you'll see it used in the hair, and oftentimes this halftone rake brush over here, and this halftone textures. It just adds an extra. It adds to that graphical look. So those are some special brushes, unique brushes that just adds a bit of oomph to your work, right? And again, if you look at these lines that are left in, maybe they're from the original, maybe they're done after, it doesn't matter. They're still included in the sketch, and I think it's a good look. I like it, and it sort of preserves that rawness for example, this hand, is it that detailed? I mean, even the knuckles, they're just represented with like dots. But it's even the way this hand sort of grips onto the other arm or the forearm over here. Like, is it that detailed? I don't think so. And again, if you look at the brushes, it's mainly, again, look at this flat brush here, and look at this round brush. Those are the two main brushes, and then obviously the special ones like the halftone and the rake brush. I do recommend you zoom in on their work because that's where you can really see the glory. Oh, I like this one. Let's zoom out a bit. Oh shit. Let me just have a sip of coffee here. Oh yes. Oh, I do recommend the work of Madao as well. I reviewed their work before. It has been a while, but if you're looking for more looser sketches, that's similar to Hue over here, I do recommend the work of Madao, especially when it comes to incorporating those lines. Although I think Hue here likes to use more bolder lines. They look a bit more bold. For Madao, they're a bit thin, and sometimes it's hard to see, but it's still there. But they're very close in terms of like it has a certain like gestural vibe. Again, you can see the flat brush here with the soft edge. The line work, again, I think it's from the original sketch, is very encapsulating. Like it's meant to contain all of the fuzz. Is that a word? Inside. Right? I mean, if you look at the edges of like each shape within each shape, it's not even that tight. Sometimes you'll see openings, gaps, certain things that are just not complete. You don't need to be super tight. And I think that's I really want to incorporate this and try to study this kind of artwork because it just feels so freeing in a way. Now this one's more graphical. Oh shit, I do recommend if you're trying to go for this specific, oh shit, let's use a thicker one. Oh yeah. If we're trying to go for this, you'll notice that the vehicle is a bit more sharp than say the actual figure. Obviously because of the, well, it's a vehicle. Not many soft edges except for maybe the cushion, the seating cushion. You do see a soft brush being used there to indicate that fluff or that padding. I do recommend the work of Michal Sawtyruk. I'm not sure how to say the last name, but although they do a lot of they mainly do environments, this kind of approach where it's very graphical, done with, say, it feels like it was done with the lasso fill tool, like those types of artworks. I do recommend the work of Michal. Or it has a very like Spider-Man. What's the anime? The one with the black guy. Spider-Man universe something. Like the style of that show or those movies. It's very like, is retro the word? Like cyber graphic. Yeah. Pretty cool. Again, rake brush over here, halftone over here. So those are their special brushes. And again, if you look at the face, even if it's far away, it looks good. If you zoom in, let's just zoom in here. It looks good. So it has enough detail, close up and far away, and it's not overdone, right? And overall, you will still see. Let me just point out those lines. Let's use the pen here. Make it thinner. Even in the seat. Look at the way the gloves are done. The fingers are very loose, but they're there. And even though they're there, they're a bit more minimal. I guess you have to be a bit more choosy. So basically, most of the line work is gone at this point, but just adding those lines, whether before or leaving those in, or adding those lines after, it just adds that not maybe it's a sketchy look, or it just feels more. It doesn't look right, or it doesn't look complete without those lines for some reason. If you look at these parts right here, oh shit, it's too thick. Christ. If you look at the vest, she's wearing her body, right? Her arm, her legs. You will see this soft edge. Obviously it's because it's the organic part, right? Same thing for the cushion here, same thing for the face, or in some parts anyway. The gloves, that's where you'll see more of those soft edges being used. And let me zoom out a bit because I'm kind of missing the lower part of this image. The aim at the boot, look at the lines left in or suggested. And if you look at the work in general, is it considered detailed? I don't think so. But it's still clear. There's a sense of clarity. The shapes are very bold, expressive, dynamic. But there's a looseness to it. A rawness to it. Let's find new ones. Oh shit. Look at this. Right? Let's point things out. Again with the halftone texture here. I don't see the rake brush. It's not used here, but look at that. I believe this character is more of an assassin. I do like the baggy. I do like the baggy pants. Look at those lines. They're a bit more sketchy. But why does it keep getting okay? Yeah, they're left in. It just adds that extra effect of it looks good. It looks good together with the other colors and the shadows. Let's zoom out a bit more. Look at that. Yeah, I do think it, maybe the ink sketch was done in one layer, the original like raw sketch, and then you do have to section things off, like the pants, the sleeve thing, the face, the hair, even this bow and arrow. Oh, that's a cool looking arrow. It's like a bomb, right? That's so cool. Yeah, this one does have way more texture. By the way, if you look at all of their work, in this style, there's a noise texture added to the whole thing, and I think it's a good way to kind of crispen or to add that bit of a sharpness, aside from using sharpen the filter. But you know, it just adds that teeth, or like an extra bit of like grit to your work, because if it just looks flat without like any noise, it looks a bit bland. And it ties everything together, you know. Look at those hands. Very simple, strong shapes. Very essential, very efficient. The face is a bit more rendered, obviously, because that's what we tend to look at anyway. Even the way this person is standing, the pose, it's just standing, but the pose plus the shape design of this really thick sleeve, the baggy pants, even this padding for the knees, or the kind of armor or padding. Yes, so this one's maybe my favorite one, aside from this chick. Oh yeah, she's so hot, mommy. Anyway, let's move on. So we have more stuff here, so let's just pick some select ones. A different pose or different character. It looks the same, perhaps different. This one does have I don't think these are the original colors. I think they're more like a gradient map version. So they picked some gradient map effect, a color scheme that they like, and then they overlaid it via a layer mode to this two designs on top. I like it. Yeah, they look like assassins in a way, like very experienced assassins, obviously because they're very mature looking, right? Oh my god, it looks so nice. Oh, this one, they do have a bit of texture. If you look at the bottom, there are a few more texture brushes maybe being used. Wow. I like this look. But then again, I think you just have to do the colors, actual colors first, and then you can play around with this kind of effect later on. Oh shit, goth chick. Damn, those heels are so high. I do think there's like a mixed version. There you go. We'll check out the other one too, because there's a few more. I believe this is the one with the breakdown. Oh shit, we found it. We found it. There we go. I have 2 more posts open. It's taking a while to load, so spare me some time. So this one's interesting because usually in the darker parts it would be left as one shape, but they did leave in this hatching technique. So it does make it look a bit even more sketchier. But it's not so sketchy that you lose the clarity. You still kind of get what that thing is. Same thing here. I think they're trying to combine I think they have a reference here. They're combining modern day like racing cars, the F1, Formula 1 vehicles, plus the with the track suits and all, and combining those modern concepts with like fantasy stuff like knights riding horses and some fantasy monsters. So in this case, I think I'm not sure what this is called, like a centaur or a minotaur. One of those where it's a half human, half horse. In this case, it's a mechanical one. It's so cool. It's very graphic. Now this one may be even more graphic than the other stuff, or more raw. I think it's because of the hatching technique with the shadows. It just adds more of that. It's so nice to look at. Oh god, I'm jelly. So I'm definitely studying this artist because oh wait, the person can be detached. So oh shit, is this guy like a, do they even have like a body? Maybe the front legs are theirs? I don't even know. Because I think the body can be detached. Oh my god. Anyway. Very cool. Let me have some coffee. Oh shit, look at this. Oh. I found the scorpion chick. Oh my god, she's so hot. Let me just tell you about the process because I think that's even more important, essential. So I do think most of his sketches or illustrations start out this way, where it's a bit more raw. If you focus more on the black stuff, the ink work reminds me of the work of Ashley Wood, especially his ink drawings or ink sketches. It's very raw, very graphic, and now obviously sometimes Ashley Wood would take that and he will use some like oil paints, maybe gouache, I'm not sure, to render them. But in this case, Hugh is a bit different. He'll or she'll or they'll do this kind of technique. It's more graphic. But yeah. But it all starts out with, where is it? Oh shit. With this kind of technique. Trying to get this right in the beginning I think is good because the moment you add colors or like shadows, lighting, rendering, it just makes it look even better. But even without all of those fancy things, just this in this stage, if it looks good, just black and white, it's gonna look nice when it's like even more like developed. So this is a Monkey King, I think, the monkey legend guy. So this one is, it's very similar to the, it's a gothic chick, I think. I can see the earrings, the piercings, and yeah. Oh, let's focus here. Where's the scorpion chick? Oh yeah, let's just focus on the process first. So it starts out like this. It's very Ashley Woodish. Basically, it just means it's graphic. Like, is it like anatomically like correct? I don't think so. It's a bit stylized, but it doesn't matter. strong shapes, a bit harder on the harder side, sharper side. And then the flats here in the middle. Ignore the noise texture overall. I think they did that after or for this illustration to kind of tie everything together, but ignore that for a moment. So after the raw ink sketch, a very sharp graphic ink sketch, you add the flats, basically the color for each part and the shadow part. And then the next final stage is basically rendering it. And you'll notice this is where things like the soft brushes, or maybe the flat soft brush, is being used to create those soft edges. And let's use a smaller brush here. Then look at how there's sort of this gradation of darkness to light. It's kind of like a wash, focusing by the way on the legs. Soft edge here, soft edge here. Anyway, oh, look at this part right here. Do you see this red? I think it's light coming from this coat, bouncing off onto the bottom part of that hat, and it kind of looks like what? A watercolor wash. Again, if you've used watercolors, sometimes you'll get these sorts of like accidents. It just adds that. It's very subtle, but it's so good. So this is where most of the effects happen on this side. So raw ink or raw composition, raw sketch. The flats to just set the color theme, setting the shadows, and then the effects. Oh, there you go. I'll try implementing this or apply. I'll try studying this in my future art sessions or art process practice sessions. And look at this original sketch and look at how it's rendered here. It has retained the same strength, because oftentimes in art it's very common where your sketch looks amazing, but over time your sketch, the more you like add color, render it, it starts to look kind of boring. So you have to, I think this artist is a good example of how you can retain that by just not changing it too much, by sticking to that rawness and sticking to that containment. Like if your lines start and end here, then that's it. It's over. Just render everything within that containment. Oh, analysis. By the way, this video is taking too long, so let me speed things up here. Oh, do you see what I see? It never ends. It never ends. Anyway, but the design, the approach is still the same, very similar. And again, look at the edges. Look at is it tight in any way? Sometimes there are colors that bleed over to the other side. You can call this a mistake or call these ones mistakes, but I don't think they're mistakes. I think it's just part of being raw and being real and being just in the moment, being a bit nonchalant. Ooh, big word with the process. And look at how energetic it looks. So it's the dragon ear, I think. Pretty cool. It's cute. And again, there is storytelling in this with this image, which I do like. Again, you can see the rake brush being used here. Very subtle, even in the hair. Man, this armor, this shoulder padding did take some time, I can tell. Oh, it's a jacket. It's like a jacket, and the armor padding for the shoulders are attached to that jacket. It's so hot to look at. Oh yeah. Even the poses look like, oh shit, thigh gap. Oh, look at this, guys. Look at this. Oh no, it's over. Look at the way the hand is rendered. Like, Jesus, it looks like there's a realism to it. The shapes may be a bit exaggerated, slightly exaggerated, but the way it's rendered, it feels very watercolor-ish for some reason. And there's so much like variety of hues in it. Like, again, it's not just one flat color. You'll see it. The skin tone, I think, was done a bit more realistically with this illustration. Like, you can see a bit more pigment, a bit more like redness and pinkness Again, you would have to zoom in to be able to see this glory. Oh, lingerie. I think it's called lingerie, this type of stuff. Like you see it when you're passing by Victoria's Secret. Those kinds. Oh yeah. Moving on. Where's the scorpion chick? Oh, it's so over. I do think these circular patterns were made with a rake brush, and then the edges were erased. Oh yeah, nice heels. And again, if you look at how the anatomy is drawn or illustrated, it's not very like, where's the line work? Right? You don't need it really. If you know where the nails are, where the general like planes of the hands are, you can just sort of suggest it. Again, the rake brush is being used in the hair as well. The arms are are segmented, kind of like the tail. I mean, she is a scorpion goddess of sorts, so hot. Look at those shapes. Flat brush with a soft edge. Again, look at this gradient over here. Let me just use my pen. Oh my god. Even in the whole dress. And even if you look at this one, it's kind of like how watercolor, sometimes if it's kind of accidental where the edge sort of bleeds out, especially on wet on wet technique. The paper is wet and then you add obviously wet watercolor. No shit, it's watercolor. Anyway, like you'll get this sort of washed out effect, like it's fading away. Shit. And again, focus on the gradients. Look at how it's very subtle, but look at the change in gradients. I do think these patterns were set on their own layer. So again, a bit of layer management helps, right? Oh wow. It's so cool, guys. Like, it's so over. Anyway, let's move on. I think we have a few more. I think we're pretty much done here. Yeah, I guess that's it. You can check out the other ones on the ArtStation page. But yeah, if you're trying to work on your character art like I am, I would recommend trying to explore the shapes or the general technique of how do you say it? Hiyu. The Twitter page is not as updated, so I don't recommend it. I would say explore the ArtStation page, go through each piece, zoom in, and you'll actually learn something. And especially the ones, the really recent ones, because they have a very consistent style. I'll be linking like similar artists to Hugh over here in the description below. But yeah, I really think this artist is worth studying because it's just yummy. And as someone who's trying to explore character art, I think I need some guidance. And someone mentioned it. Someone mentioned it in the comments that I should try actually. If I'm trying to study character art, I should try studying the character art of other artists instead of limiting myself to just real, quote unquote, real life references. And I think that was my issue in the last art process video. I believe I just got so stuck on the reference photo of this actual like model chick that I wasn't really learning. I was sort of like, my brain switched to copy mode. So I was basically just copying the image or reference from 1:1. So I don't think that works for me. I think I need some guidance, and because other artists have already found their own way of breaking down certain concepts, so why not speed up the process? Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think that was the point of the commenter. And yeah, I do agree with that. I think I should learn how to break down. For example, even in the first art process I did, the official one, I guess, I was studying like the characters from the anime Nier Automata, 2B and 9S. I was copying from the frames of that anime. And the reason why it was so easy to do is because someone already knows how to like illustrate the hair. Obviously, it's the designers of the original character and obviously the animators of the show. Like they found a way to break down the way the character looks, and I was able to easily replicate that because they made it easy for me. So why not expand this in my other studies and just if I like looking at character art, why not study other people's character art? I think the whole use real life references, it's a bit overused, that kind of advice. I'm not saying don't use it. I'm just saying that I think you can learn a lot just by studying the artist you can learn a lot by studying the artists you like. That's it. That's my point. So hopefully this video helps you in some way. It's pretty long. It's almost like 40 minutes now. My bad. I got carried away. By the way, side note, this is actually my third attempt recording this video. The first two was just the audio was so fucked up. And then just when I was about to record this third attempt, there was like a blackout in my neighborhood. So I had to wait for a few hours, but we're back. So yeah, my bad if it's that long. I'll try to make it short next time. We'll see. There are no guarantees, but yeah, hopefully this video helps you in some way, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.